Welcome back to another episode of the Firm on Foundation podcast. I am your host, Alana Qualls, aka Iconic. And today we have a very special guest with us by the name of Chris Crump. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Yes.
You look very pretty.
Thank you. I tried.
I love the outfits.
Thank you.
So today we will be talking about a lot of good things. So first, before we get into all of that, Chris, if you would like to just tell the people who you are, give a brief introduction, all of that good stuff.
I'll try to make it brief. My name is Chris Crump. I am a beauty expert of 23 years, born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. I am a mother. I have a almost 4-year-old Carlo, and I am married to the Kenny Crump, who actually is an entrepreneur as well, founder of Gym Skills, Gymnastics, and Tumbling.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Represents.
Yes, always.
Yes, that's right. And Chris has known me since, I don't know how old. I was a little girl,
Oh, my gosh.
though.
Yes.
Definitely
Probably like 10.
Yes. We go way back.
Yes.
So let's get right into it. So with everything that you do, being a mom, juggling being an entrepreneur, a wife, everything,
Yes.
what keeps you inspired to do what you do?
I guess for me, it keeps me inspired is just the unwavering support, God's blessings.
That's right.
I'm always telling people around me to always be extremely conscious of the support that they get and
Absolutely.
how much people, just really love what they're doing. And to me, I feel like that is where I get a lot of my inspiration from. It keeps me wanting to keep forging forward, not giving up, just because I know that there's a lot of people that support me and, they kind of see the vision of all the different things that I've always did.
Yes.
So really, that's pretty much it. Just God's confirmation. I'm in a season right now where every day I get confirmation that I'm on the right path. So I feel like if people are able to be conscious of that, that can help them stay motivated.
Confirmation is key. That's a big word.
Yeah.
So when you get confirmation, how do you navigate that as far as the actions you take? How do you process that?
So recently, I'm a big manifester.
Yes.
So recently, when I think of confirmation from the universe, it's always, it could be little things, just me being able to be here with you, any opportunity. And I kind of put that out in the beginning of the year. Like if there's any opportunity for me to promote my business or our foundation, I was going to take it, even though I feel like being in this space is so different than what I have in the past. It's very different. It's scary to navigate. But I think the entrepreneur in me is always just committed to what I said I was going to do for myself, so anytime anyone's asked me to do something this year, I've taken that chance.
I love that.
And I've done it, even though I was scared. Sometimes it was things that I didn't want to do. I'm like, ew, no. But it was an opportunity. It was an opportunity for people to, know about what we do and kind of just get the word out more. Then I just took it. So for me, the confirmation is always the smallest things to the biggest things, just someone saying, oh, wow, Chris, I saw you, on something else or I came on your page and I thought this was really good. Like, my friend knew you from such and such, that is a confirmation for me, from the universe just saying like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes. Everything falls in place and aligns.
Yep.
I love that. Now you mentioned the word scared.
Yes.
Talk about, and I can speak from firsthand experience as well, but something that's not talked about as much is the loneliness of entrepreneurship.
Oh, absolutely.
Speak on that.
I feel like, the loneliness of entrepreneurship, maybe more so with peers for me and my husband. So I always let people know that, you know, me and Kenny were blessed to be able to meet each other at a very early age. So when you have someone that's very close to you that understands the journey of entrepreneurship, it's not as lonely. You know, I'm very thankful for that. Having a partner, you know, at this point, it's like a life partner that is able to just be there as a soundboard, you know, and I never felt the most lonely, but it's not easy, you know, because your peers are not, you know, on the same wave as you. You know, they may not think like you, or, you know, they're just not focused on the same things as you. And it's hard. You know, I tell people I started my entrepreneurship journey at 18 before entrepreneurship was in.
Exactly.
And Black business was in, you know, before it was trending. And, you know, just being able to have that gift and really just see it out in many ways, it just helps me, you know, as a person. But it is very lonely when it comes to, you know, more so peers and family members, because they just don't understand, you know, the thought process that goes into being an entrepreneur.
And everybody doesn't always have your vision.
Oh, most people don't.
Most people don't. And they don't need to know the details of your vision, because God gave you that vision.
Exactly.
And with vision, he will provide provision.
Oh, yes.
And it's nice if that also includes a supportive community.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, for sure. Now, when it comes to, we're both mothers.
Yes.
When it comes to our children, those coming behind us, the future generations, let's talk about legacy.
Oh, legacy.
What does legacy mean to you?
Legacy means to me, oh, wow. I feel like legacy means everything. You know, I feel like at this moment, anything that me and my husband do now until, you know, the next 25 years is just extra, you know? So for me, it's like we have everything that we need, you know, when it comes to material things and family and just having that foundation. So having my daughter, being able to be born into that, you know, that is a great gift. I hope that she realizes that.
Right.
You know, she wasn't born into a space of like, I want to be something. You know, we were already kind of arrived at that moment. So I hope that the legacy for her is just knowing that we did all of this work prior to her being born. You know, we're only going to have one daughter. So if that just gives her the insight of, you know, my parents were able to do this, you know, we start from, I always say, you know, as Black people, we start in a negative, you know.
Okay. Have to work twice
you know
as hard to get half as much.
Exactly. So since we worked in a negative and was able to, you know, forge our way into the positive, and then now still continuing to do that, I hope that gives her something, you know, when she's 18 years old and she can see back like, man, you know, my parents were able to do these things, and, you know, we were not selfish with, you know, our learnings on the way. You know, I think that people need to understand that legacy is more than just finances and material things. You know, it's all about, you know, just giving her all of that grounding and just being real people. You know, I think that's what it's legacy as a whole. It's not just financial and materialistic things.
And legacy to me is the modeling. It's the lessons, the instruction. Yeah. Even at her young age, she's seeing her parents hustling and running businesses. And I'm sure she's going with you to the gym. She's going with you to the salon. She's right there with you as you're building your brands. Right. And that's a beautiful thing. And it's not normal, especially for us to have that example.
It will be normal for her. So listen, I hope that she,
that's right.
I hope she can benefit it and actually, you know, apply those things. Even if she doesn't want to be an entrepreneur, you know, just having the confidence in herself to know that the lineage that she comes from, you know, we both have that tenacity and, you know, confidence in ourselves. So I hope that we can give her that legacy and she can do whatever she wants. If she wants to be a doctor, whatever she wants to do.
Right. You'll support her.
Or artist, whatever. The world is yours.
Right. Right. But she has some great examples to follow.
Yeah. gosh.
And as parents, we're always having to be conscious of our decisions. We know they're watching 24/7.
Yes.
They follow us to the restroom.
Always. Everywhere.
Everything we do. So on the other side of the coin, when we think about today's world, Black people who are living paycheck to paycheck,
Absolutely.
who are working class or living in poverty and are not as savvy or not as economically savvy, how do we motivate our people? How do we motivate our kids who thinks they're going to get rich and famous off making a TikTok?
Yes.
Jesus. Okay. How do we really motivate them and tell them, no, you have to take the stairs, not the elevator?
Well, now this world that we lived in is definitely microwave,
Absolutely.
microwave world. So I'm not sure that we can convince or even encourage people to think that way. I kind of feel like if it's in you, you already know. And even though those people have a viral TikTok, after you start getting in that loop of viral things, it's a job. Everyone is working.
Right.
So it's not really easy. I don't think that, I mean, unless you were just a privileged person, I really don't think that anything just comes so easy. Even people who did come into maybe financial freedom or, you know, they have a more privileged life. If they want to make their own mark, they still have to work too.
That's
you
right.
know, so I don't see just one part. I guess because you're in entrepreneurship, it's like, okay, this person, I mean, you could just think of anybody like influencers. They're still working. They're not. It's not coming easy. You know, they have a schedule. They have a team that they have to pay for. You know, it's a job. So it may seem like it's easy, but I can guarantee that it's not.
Right. And the clout they get, they have to maintain it.
Yes.
Is it going to be sustainable? They're following.
Yes. So, but I don't think that you can really convince anyone. I think that it's just in you. You know, there's people who start off, you know, building something for their family or building a business for themselves, and they were even worse off than we were. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's just in you to do, you know, what needs to be done, and you believe in yourself, and you just apply all of those things. And I just feel like you either got it or you don't.
I completely agree. And I feel as parents and as the older generation, even though we're not that old, and I work with middle schoolers as well, and they're always thinking, you're so old. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. But
now I'm old. Okay.
Okay. I'm not even 40 yet. Jesus.
Right. Come on now.
I'm still not old, but I digress.
Right.
So with that, I feel as parents, as role models, as people that empower the youth and the community, it's important to teach them how to survive and be successful.
Oh, yes.
Because we are in this microwave society, and I feel
hard.
We grew up in more of the oven society. They got air fryers and everything now.
Listen,
Jesus.
everything.
But, you know, we're in the air fryer microwave society. So implementing those ways, those old school, they probably call it old school, like values and lessons. And no, you need to do this. You're going to have chores.
Yes.
You're going to have a job. You're going to have these different things. It's very important that we don't lose sight of those, very foundational things, because they will just think, I don't have to work, or have that entitled adult attitude.
Absolutely.
I don't have to work. I can make a TikTok and become famous, or I'll just have my hand out to my parents.
Oh, absolutely. So I feel like, you know, our generation is really good. I always say I'm like a hybrid. You know, I have a lot of the old school mentality because of our parents and their age.
That's right.
But also I apply the newer things as well, you know, that is of the modern world. For me, for younger people, I would say like middle schoolers that right now, you know, it's going to be hard for them to understand the work ethic because they have so much at their fingertips.
Absolutely.
But I feel like if the foundation of work ethic is there. You know, you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to apply, you know, your own work ethic to whatever you're doing. You know, even if it's someone that's like really good at sports or academics, you know, you're still going to have to study. You're still going to have to do those core, you know, old ways to succeed. So I guess for me, it's like they probably will always have a little bit more technology, you know, advance within them. But if you can find a way to have the hybrid of those old ways, but still use those new ways, because you know, Chat GPT right now,
it's I don't even use it.
It's saving us.
I don't fully understand it, but I'm open.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. You know, like I feel like I'm late, but you know, those are just things that can make your life easier. You know, and it's out there intended for us to use it. You know what I mean? It's just like anything else.
And I feel that even with all of the technological advancements that are currently in the world, and you know how social media can be really great, a great tool for business and promoting businesses and brands, but in some way, shape, form, or fashion, these kids who think that's the only way, is going to revert back to, as you stated, like that old school mentality or some of those things we use.
And they need to have that skill set.
They do.
You know, you have to have a hybrid. It doesn't matter how far we get away from the old school ways of thinking. You're still going to have some of those skill sets. You can't, there's no profession where you cannot work hard. You have to work hard to apply yourself.
You literally have to.
And if that means getting up earlier, staying up later, long hours, just to make sure you got everything under control so you can, you know, ace that test or, you know, get that license, that board license, anything that you want to do, you're going to have to work hard. So I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, I want to instill that in Carlo as well. You know, we have this technology to help us, but at the same time, you still need to apply the work ethic and be smart about it.
You can't have one without the other.
You cannot have one without the other. If you want to be successful, I don't think you can have one without the other.
No,
everybody's
have to work
working
hard to get there. Okay.
Yes.
Don't believe the hype.
They can have a fun job.
For sure.
You know, and they can have things that seems not as strenuous, but it does not mean that the work ethic is not there. I don't think so.
Now, when we speak about our community, the Black community, and that includes youth and adults.
Yes.
As a business owner, as entrepreneurs, as people who are involved in the community and like to try to empower our people and help our people and make products and have services and offer things to our people, how do we really remind them? How do we show them how to stay diligent when there are so many factors against us?
Absolutely.
We know that.
Absolutely.
To stay motivated. How do we keep our people uplifted and motivated when they want to become an entrepreneur like you and start brands and have businesses like you and your husband? How do you motivate our people when they do feel like the odds, are stacked against them?
I think that always telling your story, I think that's really key, and being honest about it. You know, I know like in the beginning of social media, it was all about showing the happiness and like the good parts, and
the
then
highlights.
People are looking like, oh man, you know, so-and-so doing so well. But I feel like as everything evolves, you know, social media has evolved to people being more authentic. Now there's still people on there that are not. But I feel like the more authentic you are about your story and about your journey, I think that gives relatability, and people can understand that, like, oh, wow, you know, Kenny and Chris, they are very well-seasoned entrepreneurs, and they still have the same issues. They still have the same hurdles. You know, I think that's one thing about entrepreneurship too, is ever evolving. You know, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the business, because you're always going to pivot, and you're going to, you know, maybe not do this and do more of this, you know, as you're learning who you are as an entrepreneur, you know. So I just feel like telling the story of authenticity, it helps become relatable to people, so they can actually see and feel like they can understand, like, oh, okay, well, it's okay that, you know, this week I didn't make as much money, or, you know, it's a little bit a little bit skimpy, you know, on after I pay all my bills. I mean, I feel like that's with every stage of entrepreneurship. It's the same hurdles. It's just in a different way.
Because being relatable and real resonates.
Oh,
Being
yes.
perfect doesn't.
It
People
does
like
not.
real.
Yes.
So that's something that, and people love that label brand.
Yes.
They're like, you are your own brand.
Absolutely.
Now, I completely agree with that, but I'm very cautious about like putting that label. Like, you're not a brand, you're a person.
Yes.
But I understand what people are saying. So with that being said, I think it's very important to showcase just who you are. Like you said, authenticity, because sometimes people may not even fully like the product or service. And
Yes.
it's not because it's not good.
Yeah.
But they're buying it because they
Of the
like or
person.
love you. It's because of
Absolutely.
your personality, your passion for it. It's the way that you move that they want to follow you. And that
agree.
obviously turns to
This is a funny story. I had a story for everything, but I remember like maybe during the pandemic, I was always, when I would see like girls on social media and they would always be like glammed up and just
Oh my goodness.
had their social media voice. And I'm like, girl, you do not even talk like that. This is
Right.
like in the beginning. So like
Okay,
maybe 10
guys.
years ago. Right.
Yeah.
And I remember I would tell Kenny, like, you know, I don't mind getting on social media without any makeup, or I just woke up in the morning, because that is real. You know, I don't look like this. No one looks like
No.
how they are.
No, we don't.
Even like Halle Berry, whoever, you know what I'm saying? Like if you see them in their natural waking up, you know, some people are of course naturally
Right.
beautiful, but you know, I don't see anything. And I remember he told me, he's like, you just be getting on social media looking crazy. And I'm like, don't think it's crazy. I think it's normal. Like,
Right.
you know, I don't really care about it, because I just don't think that that's real. You know, like
I
people
agree.
should be able to see you however, you know, you want to show up. And that's just one way that I feel like I like to do that. You know, even in salon, I really only wear makeup when I'm like going somewhere, you know, but if I'm just meeting somebody for a meeting or a Zoom call, like I'm not getting dolled up. I'm just not.
Right.
So I think that's, you know, just about being a person versus a persona.
Yeah. And like you said, it's being relatable.
Yes.
And you definitely do that. Like, everything she's talking about is true. I love how in your stories, there are times you don't have
Yes.
makeup. You're just chilling on the
No,
couch or at home
like,
talking
hey,
like,
how's
okay,
it going?
guys, so
Yes.
this is what I'm doing today. And why did Carlo
Yes.
go over there?
Oh, gosh.
No, I love that, because it's like you are a person and you're constantly not always promote. Like, it's good to promote your
Yes.
brand and believe in it and be confident, but you're not constantly saying, okay, go buy this or go to gym
Yes.
schools, go
Oh,
do this.
no.
They're getting to know you and your personality, and that's
Absolutely.
what's drawing them in.
Yeah, I mean, I've always just been like that on social media. I am not a really huge social media person when it comes to like a lot of followers. And I always tell people like, you know, I'm trying to do that now, but I feel like I'm better in person. I just tell people that like, I can't
Same.
really translate who I am
Yes.
over the internet.
Right. Like, do not look at my profile
Right.
grid and expect to understand who I
It's
am. I'm going
like,
to tell you that right now.
No, you have to meet me in person, and then
have
you
to
can
be in
get a
person.
better picture.
Yes. And
See, that's the old school thing though.
yes, it is. And then especially like, I'm very private.
Yeah.
So even when I put on Instagram, like, there's some things people are like, Lana, it's not that big a deal. It's okay.
Yes.
Post it. And I'm just like, oh, I don't want to put, you know,
Right.
like, I just think
You
you need to
just,
keep some things to yourself
No,
as well.
absolutely.
So let's talk about empowering entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So one of the main things I remember, so I used to own a secondhand thrift shop in
Yes.
Clintonville
Oh,
back
yes.
in 2017.
Yes.
And I experienced firsthand oh my gosh. So I have 2 degrees. I have a bachelor's of science and an MBA, master's of business administration. My business was open less than a year. Okay.
Yes.
So in those months, I feel like I learned more about entrepreneurship and business than all those years spending time studying and taking tests
Yes.
and writing 27-page papers
Yes.
and doing hard economics. In those months, 6 months or whatever it was, I feel like I learned more firsthand,
Yes.
and it was hard. It was a lot of late nights, marketing
absolutely.
for myself, running the store,
Yes.
ordering the inventory, going to pick up the inventory.
Yes.
And obviously, when you're an entrepreneur and starting off, a lot of people are doing that. You're in the
Yes.
trenches, you're hands-on,
Absolutely.
obviously. But what people don't talk about is not only the loneliness of entrepreneurship, you're trying to learn. So mentorship is important.
Oh, yes.
So
absolutely.
how do we empower entrepreneurs through things like mentorship? Or what's your opinion on how entrepreneurs can stay motivated for those long nights, or they feel like, I'm not getting sales, I'm not getting customers, I think I want to start a business, but I don't exactly know how to start it. Where do I start? Because I got those questions a lot.
Yes.
When people saw the things I was doing with my store, they're like, oh, you started a store? Like, I wouldn't even know where to start. People tell me that all the time. They've said the same thing, even about me starting this podcast.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Right. Well, I think that, it's an innate thing that you have in you, so if you're not a natural entrepreneur, it's going to be hard to understand, I feel like our natural conscience is always going to talk us out of doing something.
Jesus.
So if you
Absolutely.
So if you're listening to that on top of not really being an entrepreneur, it's going to discourage you, and it's going to take over the essence of you even getting it off the ground. So I feel like if you are a natural entrepreneur, you have a vision of what you want to do, and you're just going to do it. It doesn't matter if you fail. And when you were talking about you're open for less than a year and you learn so much, this is how I feel with everything. It's not just in business, but, experience is the best teacher.
Absolutely.
To me, I tell the story of me and my husband. We actually did not go to college, so we don't have any college degrees or anything like that. We was really just in there just trying to, apply what we knew and learn as we go. And I just feel like as an entrepreneur, you're going to find a way. You're going to ask people questions. If you see someone that is maybe in your field that is very successful, just reaching out to them and saying like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I would love to have a mentor. So me and my husband, we never had mentors, which that is why we started our nonprofit. It was because we felt like, man, if we had someone that was in our field that actually would say, hey, you should do this, or look, you're so good at this, why don't you focus more on this? Those things, having that mentor that's helping, guiding you, and I don't mean like someone that's actually like telling you exactly what to do. You're gonna have your own pathway, but for me, it's just like just having a mentor that is more experienced than you, that can really just help guide you through your own journey. So your journey doesn't have to be like theirs. It is priceless. And that's why I feel like mentorship at any phase of entrepreneurship is just so, so, so important. But it's hard to find.
It is.
You have to find a good match, and also just having peers that are like-minded, that you might not find somebody in your field that you can bounce ideas off of to be an entrepreneur or mentor, but maybe somebody that just started, a podcast like you, and you guys can kind of just talk to each other. I mean, that helps as well. You can have a peer that is your mentor. It doesn't have to be someone that's like way more successful. Now, for me, that's what I would be looking for a mentor. For me, is like I want someone that's like, this is what I want. But it doesn't have to be that way. It looks like all different types of ways. And I think just being open to that, people are always just looking for a specific thing, and it's like, it doesn't have to be that. You have to be fluid. That's one thing too I say about entrepreneurship. You have to be fluid and flexible.
And you have to be hungry.
Yes, absolutely.
Anytime you're starting a venture, a business, you're offering some sort of service, whatever it may be, a nonprofit, you have to be hungry go out there and get it. You can't expect things to just come to you and for it to just happen.
When has anything ever just happened?
Never.
Nothing ever just happens.
Never. In your dreams?
Yes, in your dreams. You wish. But I do believe in that same thing as mirroring the universe. I believe that if this is something that's online for you and you feel like you can do it, you want to do it, and you see all of those confirmations coming to you daily, you work very hard and things will shift, and especially with the social media, like I listen to a lot of podcasts and people will say like, my life changed within 5 years. 1 year I was behind on bills and 5 years later I was making my first million, because they were working. So I do believe in that too. You work towards your dreams and you work towards the things that you're here to do, and the universe will definitely mirror it back to you and it will make moves that you would never be able to make.
Right, putting that energy out and then getting that good energy back in return.
But you gotta believe in it. You gotta believe
to.
You can't be second guessing it.
You can't second guess, and you can't expect other people to believe in it.
Absolutely
if you don't
not.
believe in it,
whoever's supposed to believe in it is gonna believe in it.
They're going to.
It's fine.
They're going to follow.
You don't even gotta sell them on it.
No.
You just say, "Oh, this is what I'm doing." They're like, "I love it. It's perfect."
Whoever's going to love it will love it. Whoever doesn't will go somewhere else, and
absolutely.
That's okay.
Yes,
that's okay.
Absolutely.
How you feel about business baby showers?
Business baby showers.
Business baby showers. I think there should be more of them.
I love a business baby shower.
Right.
I feel like if I had a business baby shower, actually, I want a business baby shower now. Should I have one?
Yes, Jesus.
Listen, I think that's awesome. I mean, if you have a community of people that will sow into you and buy things that you need for your business and actually get that first start just like you would do with a newborn baby, I think that would be awesome. Right. I love the idea.
Yeah,
I don't know anyone that had that though.
But see, it's not happening as much as it should.
I think I should have a business baby shower.
Let me know what I can do
for my birthday.
Yes. I'm there to help, support, put up tables.
I need services. I need money.
Yes.
I need equipment, all that. Mm-hmm. I like it. That's a good idea.
I do too.
I think that people should do that.
I think we should do it more because, especially as Black people, it's hard. It's just hard because a lot of times we don't have a point of reference. And I'll speak for myself.
Absolutely.
I have been the first and only entrepreneur in my family to go out and try anything.
Yeah.
My store and the podcast. I was the second realtor in our family.
Yeah.
So even that, being an independent contractor, like putting yourself out there and having to go after your business, it's a lot. And when you don't have a point of reference, you don't have a coach, you don't have a mentor, or you can't afford like a coach.
Absolutely.
What do you do? So I think business baby showers are good because it's, first off, making everyone aware of your business.
Oh, absolutely.
They come support if they buy something, but also they're bringing their following as well.
Oh, yeah.
We have social media.
Absolutely.
You can live stream it. They can put in their stories. Hey, check out my girl. She's doing this.
I love the idea of the business baby shower.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Before,
we should do it more.
Yeah, I never
just in general
been to one, or I think it's an amazing idea.
I love that. Now, when it comes to empowering women,
yes,
that's something that is near and dear to my heart. Female empowerment. My store, which was called Pretty Dope and Darling, was a secondhand thrift shop with the intention to empower women and girls. So women and girls can come shop together, but we're essentially grooming the younger generations of young ladies coming up behind us. So that connection is very important. And I think it's important to empower women because, and this is women of all races, colors, shapes, and forms. It's difficult for a woman as well. And these are things that, yes, we know some of the odds stacked against us.
Right.
But don't be a working mom.
Yes.
When you're a woman, but you're a working mom, you are exercising a different muscle. I learned that quick after having my daughter. It's a lot.
It is a lot of work.
How do you balance everything? You know what I mean?
I think that this is a very long download. But when it comes to women empowerment, for me is always telling the women that is close to me that they are worthy.
Yes, Jesus.
But you are worthy of everything. And I feel like sometimes as we age or just however we grew up, you know, maybe not having that affirmation of knowing, you know, our worth, that we're always working in a deficit because we don't know that we are worthy. So you are worthy of that promotion. You're worthy of that husband if you would love to be married. You're worthy of that child. You are worthy of living a life of peace. If you don't have any of those things, you're
worthy. You're worthy of all good things.
Everything. You're worthy of resting. You know, you're worthy of saying absolutely not. You know, and so for me, when it comes to empowerment, that's kind of like the premise of how I speak to my friends and my close family. It's like, girl, you know, we want all the things, but we're not going to kill ourselves trying to obtain all of the things, because again, when you're a manifestation, it's already there anyway. So you don't have to overwork yourself to get those things. You know, you just have to be clear about what you want, always work hard for it, but also honor yourself in resting. And if anyone, you know, resting is a part of my self-care, but if anyone feels like they cannot rest or they don't have the luxury of resting, I can guarantee that there's some, even if it's 20 minutes of your day, you can find time to rest your brain.
Carve it out. Carve that time out. How can you be any good to anyone else if you're not?
You just have to make it a priority. And it's like anything. It's like changing your diet. It's like working out. I mean, it's you begin very slow and you know, very small changes, but if you stick to it, your body is going to adapt to it and it's going to want to that. Then your brain is going to say, oh, I need this, and it's a priority of mine.
And it is important.
Yes, it is very important.
You're expected to do and take care of so many things, and this is for a married woman, a single woman. It does not matter.
It don't matter.
Women, we run the world. Okay,
and that's just
we run the household. Men need us. We're nurturing. We're thinkers. We're intelligent. You know, men can be too. But we all know. At the end of the day, we hold it down.
Absolutely.
Okay? So there's a lot of pressure, but with that also, there's a lot of respect that we get. And I think that taking care of yourself when you have so many different responsibilities, a business, you're working, you're a working mom, you're a wife, you're an aunt, you're a sister, all these different things, you're helping people in the community. It's important to take care of yourself.
You have to serve yourself first.
Serve yourself first before you can serve others. And
in any way, even if like, you know, you like to work out, even if it's just like like some people say, oh, my self-care is working out. And it's like, that is a non-negotiable. You are worthy of whatever you feel. For me, it's sleep.
And
so even after I had my daughter, like I have lived my life without sleep. So when I finally caught up, it took me about 3 years to catch up on my sleep. You know, I just value that as a time to rest my brain, a time to relax my body. You know, you don't have as much anxious energy. You know, is worthy. You are worthy of that. And before it was a thing to say self-care is rest, I mean, I used to always say, like, I want to drink my water and I want to rest. You know, I said that for 3 years. I was tired and I was very dehydrated. So, I mean, the dehydration was making me feel tired. So that is how I replenished my body, and I felt so renewed. I was very thankful, you know, that I was able to do that. Yes,
I was so happy. Recognize you needed it.
Absolutely. And then, you know, a lot of things shifted for me. I think I was probably about like 35. And then when I had my daughter, it was cool, but I still, even when I had my daughter, because I had a partner that was so just intuitive and very supportive, it was like, I'm gonna get my rest.
That's right.
You may not need no rest, but I need rest. He's not a sleeper.
You know what you need.
It's fine. You can hang out. But, you know, his self-care is working out. So his non-negotiable is he's working out 4 to 5 days a week. And that's amazing.
And something I love, it's a beautiful thing because we talk about those we are serving. So as a mother and serving in that capacity, my daughter knows me. We know each other. So when I've had a long day, if I seem stressed, if I'm tired, if I'm emotional, if I go in my room and need a moment, she'll quietly come. Are you okay? And she'll go, do you want to go work out? Are you going to meditate? Because she knows those are things that helps to reset and recharge mommy. Working out, meditating, praying, talking to God. So it's a beautiful thing that she recognizes that, because when I'm no longer here, that's a
she'll
gift
be, absolutely.
that I'm giving her, because she has ways to cope.
Yes.
When life gets hard, she has ways to rest and
she
recharge.
And she understands that people
it's
need
a priority.
that.
Yeah, it's a priority.
So just
for
being
me.
sympathetic to people, when she gets older, she's gonna be able to say, she
That's
needs
right.
some rest.
Okay. Okay.
She gonna say, she acting
She
a little
knows.
crabby.
That's all. Just
Listen, she needs some rest.
give me about a 20-minute nap. Jesus, that's all I need. Good after that. Let me go to the gym.
That's a life skill that she's
45
gonna learn.
minutes to an hour.
Yes. No, absolutely.
Absolutely. So when it comes to Nipsey Hussle in one of his interviews, I love Nipsey.
Yes.
My favorite rapper.
Oh my
prior to
gosh.
him passing.
Yes,
Rest in peace,
yes.
Nip. So he said in the interview, he said in so many words, he's like, I don't know, bro. I don't think the answer is going to drop a bag of money in the hood. He was essentially talking about the key is economics.
Absolutely.
And that financial freedom
opportunity.
comes from teaching people,
Yes.
not just giving them money. How do you manage
no.
your money?
How about
Okay. Let's have courses. Let's have rec centers where people can go, and libraries, and people coming to teach about how to manage your finances. Let's talk about credit cards. Let's talk about credit card usage, credit in
Absolutely.
general. Let's talk about buying houses and how to not only save for a down payment, but once you buy that house, you need to maintain your
house.
finances and your
Yes.
house in order to keep it and pay a
Absolutely.
mortgage. Not just post a picture,
No.
sold, standing next to me,
And
the
that's
realtor, and it's like, but then you calling me up saying,
Right.
Lana, I'm behind on my mortgage.
Yes.
Jesus,
Like, what are you
we
doing?
need you
Hold
to
on.
keep the house, right? To break those generational
Yes.
curses and to pass property on to future generations. So it's all about being financially savvy.
Yes.
And that's what Nip was saying. He was like, in so many words, I feel like economics is the key. And I completely agree. Like, if a bunch of celebrities go drop money in the hood, as he stated, what is that really teaching? Yeah, it's a nice gesture, and maybe, they want to tax write off something for charity, but whatever bad spending habits, whatever superfluous, materialistic items that money was being spent on, they're going to take that money and do it.
Yes.
And there's no judgment, because some of those things maybe they need. Maybe they'll get clothes
yes.
for their
Or a
kids
car.
or a car,
Yes.
but it's bigger than that.
Absolutely.
If you want something left here for your kids,
Yes.
are you really about to spend all your money on
No.
things that are tangible?
But
or
that
on
is a
assets
skill.
and having equity and teaching people about that,
Yes.
and schooling people on that, and talking to our kids about that?
See, this might be a little controversial, but I feel
That's
like
fine.
if you,
It's fine.
I feel like you can teach this
Sure.
concept. Somebody wants
Yes.
to learn it.
For
Because
sure.
there is so much free information right now,
I know.
more than ever.
I know.
And I just feel like if you don't have it in you to really just change your way of thinking, it's not gonna happen.
It's
I don't
not,
think you can teach it. I don't know. I don't feel like you can teach it. It has to be in you to say, I'm done with this. This is what I want for my family. This is what I want for my life. I want something better. I want to do better. And you want to apply those things.
for sure.
You've seen people who are down bad and turn their life around. You know what I mean? Because they didn't see nothing else. I mean,
Right.
Tyler Perry is a perfect example of somebody that's like a celebrity. He was homeless. And it's like, eventually you have to say, like, I am talented. I can do this.
That's right.
And I will do it. And I just feel like, I don't think you can teach that. It has to be in you.
The power of positive self-talk. And
Yes.
also, I think, especially when we're talking about the youth and younger generations,
yeah.
we have to find more ways to infuse it in things that are
Yes.
mass media, like music. All
Absolutely.
these TikToks and different things
Yes.
going on. How about we do some TikToks
Right.
more on
About-
finance and different
Yes.
things to a song they like, so
can-
they can start to learn.
Can receive it.
Yeah,
You have to be able to give the information in a way that people can digest.
absolutely.
Because
And
if
that's
it's too
relatable.
far, if it's too far gone,
Right.
it's not gonna be. They're like, okay,
I
whatever.
don't want to
I
sit
get
still
it.
and,
Exactly.
and listen to that, even though it will be beneficial.
Right.
And especially,
And we know,
we know.
like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. It's like, no, it's not that cool.
It's not. And I just think that as parents, as older people,
Yes.
we always have the younger generations watching, whether they
Yes.
acknowledge it or not.
Oh, absolutely.
So how we move in our financial decisions,
Absolutely.
our belief in equity and breaking that down and learning, like taking accountability to learn more about it ourselves so we can pass it down
Oh,
to
absolutely.
the future generations. That's very important. And it's something
Yeah.
we're not doing on the regular. Some of us are,
Yeah,
but
and I believe that those younger people too, they'll gravitate to you naturally.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if they see something in you and it's like, man, I really want to learn more. You
Right.
know, but again, it all goes back to I feel
I
like
know.
there are some people who get bit by the bug. I'm not going to say that, and it changes their life. But I feel like as a masses, it's
Right.
just in you to want to change, and you're not going to do anything less than what you have to see the change.
When it's in you, sometimes you do need that pull to pull it out of you.
Oh,
and typically it's a
absolutely.
parent, it's one of your supporters
yes,
or close friends,
teacher,
a family member, a
yep.
teacher, a principal, something like that.
Absolutely.
And some kids, some of us are just born. It's in us. We know
Yeah.
it, and we start walking our talk, right? Because we can talk about when to start a business all day.
Listen.
We can talk about when to start a podcast all day. I did it for years and years and years. But when it was time
and
to
one
move,
day you said, "I'm doing it."
well, God told me to do
Yes.
it. He said,
It's
do it
time.
now.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I had reservations. I'm not a shy person.
Yes.
But, talking and being in front of the cameras is not really my thing per
Absolutely.
se. So now it's like, getting outside of that and those very surface level things, it's about impact.
Yeah.
And
more than anything.
Yeah. And I think that regardless of the age, kids can relate to that too, because
Oh,
even
yes.
them wanting to make TikToks, and not all young kids want to just make
Yes.
TikToks and become famous. Some of them really are intentional about, I'm going to do well in school. I want to go to college, or I want to start a business. I
Right.
want to, have a trade or something like that. They want impact. They want to create impact,
Yes.
whether they know how to articulate that or not. So
Absolutely.
it's important for us to continue to model that in the best way that we can.
And be relatable.
And be relatable. You don't have to have a business. You don't have to have a college degree. If you're a
Absolutely.
manager at, and this is no shade, whether it's Walmart, Macy's, if you are a custodian, it does not matter. There's nothing wrong with those jobs.
Absolutely.
Because your kids are watching you go to work every day and provide for
Hold
your
on.
family.
Work ethic.
It's the work ethic. That's all they need.
It's a work ethic. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree with that. It doesn't matter, like you said, it doesn't matter if you're
Nope.
the most successful person or you just have a regular 9-to-5 job. You can still have that same work ethic throughout
Absolutely.
all careers, all income bases. I just feel like that it really just depends on what you measure as
Right.
success, And everybody's not going to be a millionaire, and that's totally fine. And you should know that. People should
Yeah.
know that.
You're creating legacy regardless.
Yes,
Just by setting
absolutely.
that example.
And like I said before, it's not always just financial legacy. I think people always think legacy has to do with the finances and the materialistic things. It's not always just that. That's
No.
just that's the bare minimum, actually.
Something people don't focus on as much. Part of your legacy is how you treat people.
Hello.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, our kids are watching how we treat people.
Absolutely.
And that in turn is conditioning them to become nice people, to become respectful people, and to know and
Have
learn how to respect
empathy,
others, how to have
sympathy.
empathy.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How to know how to pray when it's time to pray, to talk to God, how to realize that you're not always in control of everything.
Oh, never in control. And that one thing that I always say about when you are talking to God is to really have a true understanding and relationship with God is talking to Him no matter what. Don't talk to God when something's going bad.
Right.
Talk to Him every day. Be thankful. I told people I never think that God does anything bad when they say, oh, why did God allow this to happen to me? I'm like, I don't think that God allows anything bad to happen. I feel like my prayer is always to be thankful, even
That's
if
right.
it's not in the way that I feel it should be. It's like, thank you for keeping me as far as you have. You don't have to anything that you blocking is for my good. It doesn't always have to be like, God, please help me get out. I know people do that, but I just remember a long time ago, like it could have been my discernment or whatever. It was like, we don't have to pray only when things are going bad. We can just pray every day and be thankful. So that's what I try to do. I try to pray every morning, every night, and just say thank you. Thank you for everything that you've given me and whatever else you feel like I need. My life is more abundant than I can even think of. So I can only imagine what it is, if I dedicate even more time to say thank you.
To acknowledge him for the good and the bad. And the closer you get to God, the more you realize God is intended to be a friend. God is my best friend. I talk to him all the time.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just little short conversations in my head, or I'm talking out loud. I'm in the car.
Yes.
Other times, I'm meditating. I can meditate 45 minutes to an hour if I want. And sometimes it could be 15 minutes. So it's just sometimes you got to learn to sit and listen too.
Oh, yes. And hold on. Listening is more beneficial.
Right. Because you're not always going to him to ask for something.
Oh, no.
And you realize the grace he gives you and the patience is a beautiful thing, because you can bump your head and fail the lessons that he has put you through for a reason. And he sits here like this. Go ahead and run it back. Because you still haven't learned a lesson.
Absolutely.
He's patient, though, because he knows you. He knows how many times and how long it will take you to pass those tests.
You know what? Never mind. I'm not doing that anymore.
Exactly.
You learned your lesson.
But he still loves us enough to not judge us.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
to not leave us.
The grace.
He doesn't leave us. He meets
through
us.
anything. Absolutely. Yeah. I believe that.
He doesn't. Well, now it is time for the segment of our episode called Firm and Free.
Yes, Firm and Free.
I want you to please tell me something that you are firm on and something you'd like to be free from. So, for example, I'll start. I am firm on setting the example for my daughter and everyone around me on how to be humble and how to lead a life praising God and showing gratitude through the things that I do, through the way that I move, through the words that I speak, through my actions, and not just my words, following through on the actions and things that he places in my spirit. What I would like to be free from would be ever not believing in myself when I do want to start a new venture. Not having reservations. Just trusting those seeds that are already planted in my spirit. And when my intuition tells me it's time to move or do this, do that, don't second guess it. Just do it. Take small steps to get there, because nothing happens overnight.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what you see or hear. Be patient with that process. So what about you? What's something you're firm on, and what would you like to be free from?
I am very firm on boundaries. So that is the premise of my life. So when I mean boundaries, I just have healthy boundaries for everyone around me. Some people, I have more boundaries than others. It just depends on how, how they pour into me in a positive way or a negative way. I just have to know the boundaries. I'm very, very firm. And I tell my friends about that too, is you just have to have boundaries. You cannot lack that. To me, that is a life skill, and I don't know if that is because of being a hairstylist for so long and, just always giving people grace, because you are in a service industry and it's taxing on your body because you're not living in the boundaries. But I just believe in that. I believe in just being very firm on whatever your boundaries are.
That's right.
And this is what, again, is serving you. So it's a part of serving yourself. So
I love that.
I'm huge on boundaries. What would I like to be free from? So much.
Right.
I need to be free from procrastination.
Jesus.
So I think that in my natural mind, because I've been an entrepreneur since I was 18, I will be 42 in a month. It is embedded in my brain and my confidence that whatever I want to do, I can do.
That's right.
So the over boastful confidence.
Yes. Yes.
It definitely hinders me when it comes to procrastination because I just feel like I'm going to get to it whenever I can. I'm not rushing, but I do feel like I lean a little bit too much on that boastfulness of I got it. It's going to be mine. I don't have to worry about it.
So
I can chill. That? I need to work more, work harder. I just think that is just, I don't want to say negative, but it's kind of negative. It's like a negative character flaw that I have. I feel like I blame it on just being able to come out the gate and be so successful to what I feel is successful with my business. And I just feel that way to the core. I just feel like whatever I want to do, I can do, but I have no urgency.
So you have the belief in yourself, which
and I have so much confidence.
Very important. Right. You have so much confidence. So,
but I need to stop with the procrastination. Like, girl,
but you're undermining your self-awareness because the fact that you know you're a procrastinator is good. So now maybe you need to think of time management or making lists or what will work for you.
Everything that you would do for procrastination, I need to do it, and I'm not doing any of it.
You're not the only one either.
I need to be free from the procrastination. I need to get that out of my system. But I'm a big also balance person, so I think that's another thing, like character flaw for me is feeling like you don't want to be over exerting to like prove to yourself that you're not being a procrastinator. So then now you're on the opposite of like an overworked person because it's like, I got to get this done. I got to, so for me, it's like, I don't ever want to be on the extreme side. So, I try to balance it all and it could be some PTSD trauma from being an overworked entrepreneur. But yes, I need to stop procrastinating. I need to be free from that.
Okay. No.
And that could be one of my prayers at the end of the night.
That's right.
Lord, please.
You already know what you have to do.
Listen, please.
You got it, girl.
Please free me from the procrastination.
That's right. That's right. Now, we are going to go ahead and wrap up this episode.
Okay.
And we're going to end the episode how we end every episode with our mantra.
Yes.
I am powerful beyond measure. The things that I say, think, and do will reflect that.
Absolutely.
I know who I am. I own who I am.
Yes.
Chris, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you for having
Everybody
me.
that's tuning in, if you're listening or watching, I appreciate you. And I hope that you all have a blessed day.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.